Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
All right, welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim, and our guest today is Jason. So, Jason, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do for a living.
Hey, my name is Jason Helmes. I live in Michigan with my wife and two daughters, and I am a fitness consultant, fitness coach. I run Anyman Fitness. It's an online consultation service. We've been in business for a little bit over 10 years, and we help people lose fat, get strong, get into shape, and really help them simplify their fitness. That's probably the main thing that I would say that we do. There's a lot of noise out there in the world of fitness and a lot of misinformation. So we help break things down for them and turn them into simple habits and simple digestible actions that people can use each and every day in order to improve their health.
Awesome. So, how did you get the idea to start this business?
I got the idea to start the business because I had seen so many other people do exactly that. I had always been an athlete growing up, and I had played organized sports from the time I was like 4 years old to the time I was 20. Played basketball and baseball. I'm a tall guy. I'm 6'8". So I was constantly training either for a season or in season, but just nonstop conditioning, weightlifting, and playing the sports themselves. And that was keeping me in good shape pretty much around the clock. I was lucky enough to get a scholarship to play baseball in college. But once that ended, I was about 20 years old, and I was just so burnt out from exercising that I basically just stopped. It had been 5 to 7 days per week for 18 years or so that I had been working out. And stopping was not a good thing, especially when you're in college and your diet isn't the best. You're staying up late, you're drinking alcohol, all that fun stuff. So from the time I was 20 to the time I was in my late 20s, I ended up putting on about 80 or 90 pounds of fat. And my wife and I were trying to have a kid, and we had our first daughter in 2010. And it was shortly after my first daughter was born where I kind of took a look at myself, and I was close to 300 pounds. And I was like, holy crap, I need to make a change. And kids do that too. A lot of people will say kids end up being their excuse for letting themselves go. It was the exact opposite for me. My kid was my motivation for getting into better shape. All of a sudden, I was looking at the trajectory that I was on, and I realized 10 or 15 years down the road, I was already 300 pounds. I was looking at myself going, what is life going to be like when you're 40, 45, 50? Are you going to be immobile? Are you going to have a heart attack? Are you going to be able to walk your daughters down the aisle one day? Those sorts of things. It really made me aware of my own responsibility as a parent, my responsibilities as a man and a husband and all that good stuff. So anywho, I started trying to get into shape, and I would use a lot of mainstream fitness advice. I remember going on to Yahoo Fit and MSN Fit and, reading the magazine covers of the Muscle Fitness and all this stuff. And I would try the various protocols that they would have, right? And I'm sure you've seen the clickbait articles, the stuff like top 10 superfoods to blast the fat off your belly and those sorts of things. And I would try those, and they just wouldn't work. And for about 2 or 3 years, I was really frustrated by trying really hard, going to the gym, trying to run the fat off of me, trying to eat small meals to stoke my metabolic fire and all that stuff that everyone was telling me, and it wasn't working. So I started digging really deep into bodybuilding message boards, into online communities, into bloggers. Blogging was a huge thing at the time. I started piecemealing together the important parts, the big blocks when it comes to fitness. And over the course of 2 years, I ended up losing 80, 85 pounds. I ended up losing all the fat that was on me, got into the best shape of my life. And along the way, a lot of friends and family started taking notice, and colleagues. I was teaching middle school at the time, And they all started noticing. I mean, people are going to notice when it wasn't like I was losing like 20 or 30 pounds. It was like, 70 pounds was off of me, sort of a deal. And people were like, holy crap, what's going on? What are you doing? You must be killing yourself. And the protocol that I had developed, I mean, honestly, I was barely working out, Dan. I was working out 40 minutes 3 times a week. Like that was it. I was doing no cardio. It was all weightlifting, all with barbells, heavy compound movements, that sort of a thing. So I started helping other people, basically gave them the exact same protocol that I did, set up their diets, set up their training programs. And I had about 4 or 5 people I was coaching just for fun, though. I didn't even consider it coaching. It was just like helping my buddies get into shape, sort of a deal. And one of my friends, I remember it was, I played softball with him, my buddy by the name of Jack. We were sitting down and I had helped him lose. He lost about 35 pounds and he had a 6-pack and he was like, 30, 31. He starts asking me all these questions, what should I do about this? What should I do about that, about his own workouts and diet? And I'm answering him the best I can. And when I'm done, he turns to me and says, dude, when are you going to start a business? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, look at all these people you're helping. He's like, I got a 6-pack. I've never had a 6-pack before. I didn't even have a 6-pack when I was 16 and I'm 30 and I got one now. He's like, you're a good coach. Start a business. And I was like, oh, dang, well, maybe that's an all right idea. So that was a Thursday. And on Friday, during my lunch break at school, I literally got onto the school computer. Sorry, Plymouth Canton School District in Michigan. Got onto the school computer and Googled, how do you purchase a domain name and how do you start a blog? And here I am 10 years later. I ended up quitting teaching in 2016. And I've been doing this ever since, self-employed, helping people get into shape from my laptop, and pretty cool.
Awesome. So in terms of, you mentioned that you're not working out that often, so I'm sure a lot of it is also your diet. What is a diet? I guess, what do you recommend in terms of, making sure that that's good? Because I think that like many people, at least like even like for myself, like when you're working a lot, you try to go more for convenience, or like I'm going to order delivery, all these things, which is not the best option. So how do you, I guess, work with your clients in terms of what they should be eating and when?
There are big blocks when it comes to your nutrition, and there is a clear hierarchy of what is important when it comes to fat loss. And you need to make sure that you've got your base and the most important part, and the importance kind of like gets smaller. It's like a pyramid, right? Where you've got, most important here, a little less important, and it keeps going up here. And this idea was popularized by Eric Helms. And the most important part of any diet when it comes to fat loss is going to be your overall calories. How many calories are you consuming consistently throughout the course of the day and consistently as weeks go on, right? It's a cumulative thing. It can never be looked at one day in isolation. You have to look at it in terms of how many calories are you consuming over the course of a week or over the course of a month, right? So your calories are the most important part. That's about 70 to 75% of the fat loss equation. If you ate nothing but junk food, but you were still in a calorie deficit and you were still eating less than you are burning, you are going to lose fat. I wouldn't recommend it. It's a terrible idea, but it has been done. Lots of people have tried that sort of a thing. And, CICO, calories in, calories out, the law of the thermodynamics, it is undefeated. It has never been proven in a scientific context that if you're in a calorie deficit, you're going to lose fat. But we need to be smarter than that and not just eat junk food and be in a calorie deficit. That would be dumb. So the second most important thing is, what is the macronutrient composition of the foods that you're eating, right? There are 3 different macronutrients, 3 main ones anyways. There's protein, there's carbohydrates, and there's fats. Those are the part of the food that contains energy. And there are 4 calories per gram of protein, 4 calories per gram of carbohydrates, and 9 calories per gram of fat. Technically speaking, ethanol or alcohol is a macronutrient as well, but we won't worry about that. If you're trying to lose fat, you should probably be limiting your alcohol intake anyways, usually, at least if you're smart about it. So the first layer, calories, is 70 to 75% of the equation. The second layer, macronutrients, is about 10 to 15% of the equation. So right there, if you're making sure that your calories are in order and your macronutrients are in order, I mean, you're at like between 80 and 90% of the equation. The rest of it is gravy. And the rest of it includes things like, how healthy is your diet? What kind of vitamins and minerals are you eating? Are you eating enough vegetables? Are you getting enough fiber? when do you eat? Do you eat 3 meals per day? Do you eat 2 meals per day, 1 meal per day? That sort of a thing. And when it comes to macronutrients, far and away, the most important macronutrient to any diet is your protein, far and away. You need to make sure that you're getting enough protein. And there's a lot of reasons for this. The biggest reason is that protein provides a metabolic advantage right away. Every food has what's called, or every macronutrient, excuse me, has what's called a thermal effect of the macronutrient, or a TEF for short. And what that means is when you eat it, your digestive system needs to digest it, and that takes energy. And protein is the one macronutrient that has far and away the highest thermal effect. 25% or so of protein's calories are immediately going to be used by the digestive system. So ergo de facto, eat 1,000 calories worth of protein, and your body only thinks it's 750 calories because 250 calories are used in that digestion process. This boosts your metabolism and gives you a huge advantage when dieting. It makes it much easier. The second reason is protein is far and away the most filling of the 3 macronutrients. A cup of Frosted Flakes and a pound of chicken breast have roughly the same number of calories. So which one is going to fill you up better? Obviously, eating a pound of chicken breast is going to fill you up way better than, eating a cup or 2 of cereal, something like that, right? And the third reason protein is so important is because it helps to spare your muscle while you're in a diet and helps to build muscle as well. And when you are dieting, you are purposefully eating less than you need in order to lose body fat. And if you're not careful, you're going to lose muscle along with that body fat. So that's why we do 2 different things. Number one, we keep protein high, and that helps to spare that muscle so that you lose pure body fat and you don't lose any of your muscle. You don't want to lose any muscle while you're dieting. Muscle, there are tons of advantages to having muscle. Boosts your metabolism, gives you a higher quality of life, makes daily tasks easier, makes you look better naked, which is really important, right? Especially for those of us that need a little bit more confidence, a little bit more pep in our step, right? So it's important that we make sure that we're getting enough protein in, number one. And we also need to make sure that we're strength training. And that is where our fitness, the actual physical training side of our programs come into play. We don't require any cardio for any of our clients. We don't make them jog or do high intensity interval training. Some do. Some enjoy them. It's not like we tell them they have to stop doing their cardio regimen if they join our team or anything like that. And we do recommend highly to get your steps up, right? Doing some zone 1 and zone 2 cardio, keeping your heart rate relatively even keel, but still getting your steps up into the 8,000 to 10,000 per day range is excellent for tons of reasons, not just burning calories, right? You really don't do it to burn calories. You do it for a higher quality of life, less stress, better sleep, meditation, all those wonderful benefits that come with lower intensity cardio. But anyways, kind of got long-winded there. But what we do for our clients is we give them a calorie range to aim for. We give them an amount of protein to aim for. And we tell them about how many carbohydrates and about how many fats they should be consuming each day. There's a little bit of variance with the carbohydrates and fats. Everybody has personal preferences. Some people prefer a lower fat diet and a higher carb diet. Some people prefer vice versa. I usually recommend if someone goes, I don't know, what do you think is best? I said, what I think is best is split it right down the middle. High protein, moderate carb, moderate fat, that sort of a thing. But we don't ever tell our clients what to eat because in my opinion, that is one of the worst things you could ever do for somebody. You say, eat exactly this, and you give them a canned meal plan, or maybe you give them a list of foods and you tell them, here, you can eat this. I've seen people go into gyms and not to bash anybody in particular. I've seen people go into gyms and hire personal trainers, and the personal trainer hands them this sheet, and it says, you can eat anything you want on that sheet. And it's like chicken breast, brown rice, almonds, broccoli, oatmeal. And it's like, how long is somebody going to stick to an insanely restrictive diet? It's not going to work.
No, 100%. Well, I'm just curious, right? Because you mentioned that you work with lots of people who do it, which is awesome. But in terms of I think that many people in the fitness industry struggle with scalability, right? Like being able to provide a good level of service that gets you grow your business. So what does that look like for you in order to, as you've grown, to reach more people with your training methods that obviously have been so successful?
Sure. Yeah. Getting into the nitty gritty here. You're going to make me tell people all my secrets, aren't you? When I started, it was 2013. And you got to remember, I said I was teaching school, and I had become really passionate and interested in fitness. helping all my friends in fitness. And then I started that blog that I was telling you about. I didn't collect any money for 6 months. All I did was write articles, and all I did was want to help people. And I'd put the articles out, and I'd write Facebook posts. I think that really gave me a lot of goodwill from the start. People were seeing me just writing articles and just helping them how to set up your macronutrients, how to lose fat, how to create a strength training program, how to, and a lot of people were seeing that, and they were emailing me saying, wow, this is great, such free content, blah, 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 blah. So I opened up for business about 6 months later, and I started getting some clients. It was modest. I think my first year I had maybe 5 or 6 clients. And I see my first year. I opened for business in October of 2013 was the first time I took a payment. And then the next year, I was still doing, it was climbing a little bit. And instead of 5 or 6 clients, maybe I had 12 or 15 clients. I'm going, okay, this is cool, right? Still teaching at the time. But I got, I was in the kind of the right place at the right time, right? They say that what is it? Opportunity is luck and hard work combined. I was definitely doing some hard work with my clients, and I got a little bit lucky, and I started working for a website called Photocracy. And you probably haven't heard of Photocracy. It was hot back in 2014. Believe it or not, Photocracy was rated the #1 fitness app on the web, even higher than MyFitnessPal at the time, back in 2014. They had
How do you
millions of
spell
people.
it? How do you spell it?
Phitocracy. It was a little startup. It has since been sold. I don't think anybody visits it anymore.
Yeah.
But so they were looking for coaches to run courses, right? All I had done is one-on-one stuff up until that point. I work with you closely. I hand create a diet. I hand create nutrition for you, and we check in each week, that sort of a thing. And so they were looking for people to run courses, and I'm like, okay, I think I could create a course, right? So I created a course, and I started working with them, and just so happened it caught on like wildfire. It really did. And that course was called No Cardio Fat Shredding. And that was eons ago, almost 9-10 years ago. I think the first course we sold 50 spots, and the second we sold 100, and the third we sold 130. And all of a sudden I'm teaching school, and I'm going, whoa, okay, I have a lot of clients now. Wow, this is awesome. That kind of showed me how it just doesn't have to be one-on-one coaching. It could be group coaching. It could be courses. It could be a lower cost, almost like a membership subscription
That's
site.
smart. That's smart. Yeah, because I think it's it's like many people struggle with the cost of it. Many people can't afford one-on-one coaching. And what you're doing, Jason, is really the smart way to do it, because you're able to reach more people. You're able to offer different options depending on people's budget, really being able to help lots of people. And that's really cool.
Yeah, and even up until the point where I was quitting teaching, the Photocracy site fizzled out, and it stopped. All of a sudden, all the sales dried up. That happens. Internet startups sometimes have a short shelf life. But so when I was getting out of teaching, I ended up hiring a business coach. And when I hired that coach, he said, okay, right now, Photocracy is dead. You need to start selling this other stuff, off of your email list. So at the time, he actually got me involved in Facebook ads. So it was very standard. Here's a free guide, right? Here's a free fat loss guide, a free fasting guide, a free, muscle gain guide, a testosterone boosting guide, whatever the guide is. Here's a free guide, use it and hop onto the email list, sort of a thing. And I'll write a newsletter. I'll give you free information, free help. And then every once in a while, I'll pitch you on coaching services. So he was the one that really taught me the importance of getting people onto your team, getting leads into your system, giving stuff away. He's like, give. And if 2% of the people that you give stuff to end up hopping on board for coaching at some point, then you're going to be wildly successful. It's not going to take much. So just always keep in your mind to give. And it's the law of reciprocity. It will come back for you. So I've really, my entire career up until this point, I've kind of lived by that philosophy. And, people will say, you're giving away too much. You're giving away workouts. You're giving away. And I'm like, people have Google. The internet is free. Information is not at a premium. What's at a premium? An experience, a community.
Do you watch or listen to Alex Hormozi? Because he talks about that all the time.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And it's true. It's true. People get so, oh, I can't help somebody, because that's my secret sauce. People pay me for that. No, they don't. They pay you for, especially in the world of online service-based businesses in 2023. People, honestly, one of the big things is people pay you because they like you. Like, seriously, people pay you because they're like, oh, I like that guy. He helps people out. And wow, look at his clients. They get good results. If you get good results and you're somewhat likable, like, people are going to come your way. But no, information is free. There are no secrets out there. There's no secrets when it comes to fitness. All that stuff that I just told you, like, you could look it up online. Like, it's all there.
100%. Well, I'm
Yeah.
just going to ask you, obviously now 2023 is the age of AI, right? So are you incorporating it into your business? And like, if not, like, what do you see the use cases, for the fitness industry and AI, moving forward?
Honestly, I haven't really done much as far as change my business towards AI models, and one of the reasons is, everyone was all worried about Chat GPT when it came out, right? That's what everyone was talking all over social media. Chat GPT is going to put copywriters out of business. It's going to put sales page writers out of business. It'll put coaches out of business. And it's like, no, it won't, because Chat GPT can't create the story about me losing 85 pounds, getting into great shape, and helping other people. Chat GPT can't create the story of client X that I have over here, who was an overweight dad who had no confidence, and he wore his shirt at the pool and never took it off and felt like shit, and how I helped him get into incredible shape. Chat GPT can't do that. So I'm not worried about Chat GPT. You know what I mean? Like, if you want canned information and maybe if it was some sort of a product that was like a gadget or a doohickey or something, maybe Chat GPT would be able to help that. But when you're talking of fitness, something that's so personal, between a coach and a client, or a client and the community that they're a part of. And like, I'm not worried about AI. I'm not worried about, Chat GPT or anything like that. It's just, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. Right. I write a newsletter every Friday, and I try to include personal stories either about me or about people I've coached, or sometimes my family members, or, that's the stuff that people can relate to. And that's the thing that's missing a lot in 2023, is that sort of that personal touch, that relatable quality. Everything is robotic, right? You're talking about AI. It's like everything is artificial right now. So, genuine connection is something that's at a premium.
Yeah, I think the way I view AI is not something that's going to take away jobs. I think it's more of like a supplement, right? Like, for example, imagine like somebody lands like on a website. It's like having live conversations, 24/7 chatbot, like that kind of support. Where if somebody's not sure, because like it's one thing if you're talking to like a high ticket, client that's gonna, be one on one. But if it's somebody maybe like lower ticket, that has, questions, just trying to get more information as opposed to like you having to answer the phone or respond to every email and message. They can chat with AI. They can use your information to really capture your voice and have the live conversations with your potential client.
Gotcha. No, it could be useful in something like that. Some sort of, I don't know, maybe like a text messaging service where it will do the outreach for you. But then once somebody responds to the outreach, then you got to hop on and actually, have the conversation yourself. I could see it being helpful as far as automating processes and doing that sort of a thing. One time, it was years ago. I haven't done it in years, but we had a third party through Facebook. When we were running the ads, we had a third party, like a chat bot, and it was, through Facebook Messenger, and it did pretty well. And again, it was what I just said there, right? Like, it would start the conversation, but then once someone said, yeah, sure, I'd be interested in talking, well, okay, well, now I have to talk. I'm not letting my robot like
No,
have a
100%.
discussion with this
To to
person.
close the sale, it needs to be a human, no doubt, especially for
Yeah,
high ticket. That's
yeah.
never going to change. But I think to your point, it's more of like the initial discovery, saying, "Oh, like, let me answer your question. Are you qualified? What are you looking for?" And then at that point, let's hop on a call if you're seriously interested.
Yeah, in reality, that's no different than me sending out an email blast to my email list and saying, "Hey, would you like to discuss this?" And they respond back. It's just kind of like a different form of that.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, if somebody watching this wanted to reach out to you, do you mind sharing like your website or just best way to get in contact with you?
Sure. My website is anymanfitness.com. I am on Facebook. I am on Twitter. I am on Instagram, and I am on TikTok. All four of them, the handle is just at Anyman Fitness. You can always shoot me a DM. My DMs are open across all of the various platforms. So if you have any questions, concerns, want to chat, or whatever, I'm here. So I've always left my DMs open, and hopefully I'll always be able to do that. I don't ever want to get too big to where I need to close them off or whatever. That wouldn't be very much fun. But yeah, shoot me a message. I'd love to talk to you.
Awesome. Yeah, Jason, Nickham, you and I should connect offline because I'm interested, in what you're offering. So we should definitely just talk later offline.
We can do that, Dan. Let's do it, buddy.
Awesome. Sounds great. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so that's it. You got it?
Yep. Yeah. I'll show you a message. I was looking at your program, I think, because I'm using somebody now, but they're not very good. And I think,
Okay.
yeah, I just haven't, it's like, I think that I mean, maybe like for like a cheaper membership at first, I got to be interested in and kind of seeing, like I got to jump off, but yeah, I could, shoot you a message and we can talk. I'm definitely interested in what you're offering.
Yeah,
So
sure. I don't know if what your main goal is to currently to like lose a little bit more body fat.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. We do have a course that's coming on. It's opening up on it begins on October 9th. It's that no cardio fat shredding course. That's
Okay.
probably our most popular like intro into what we do. It's a very simple workout program. It's pretty high intensity using barbells and stuff, but it's a very simple workout program. It's rapid fat loss, obviously with the name, no cardio fat shredding, no cardio is involved. And I think the average numbers are like, 13, 14 pounds of weight loss in 6 weeks. So it works really well. But I usually recommend that we run that about 6 or 7 times per year. So I usually recommend people start, especially if they're trying to lose fat, they start with that. And then we have other options too. So if you wanted to, afterwards, you said, wow, this is freaking amazing. I want to see what your one-on-one is like. We can get something personalized. Or like I said, I have a lower cost, like a group coaching membership sort of a thing. And we have a lot of people that go into that too. So, for a continuation option, but yeah, man, shoot me a message. That sounds great. I actually, I just got the materials. What's that?
I just put like my email like in the chat there. So if you can maybe shoot me an email with more info, that way.
Absolutely. Let me copy and paste this somewhere else. So,
and then let me see, because I think that Cosmic Connected would come with you on Twitter. What's your Twitter handle? That way I can connect with you as
Anyman
well.
Fitness.
Anyman Fitness. Okay,
Yep.
awesome. Oh, I found you. Awesome. There you are. Yep. Okay, cool. I'll just followed you, and I'll just shoot you a message now. Just say, hey, Jason.
Yeah, I'll send you. I actually just got the materials together and refreshed the sales page for that course. I just did that yesterday. So it's live right now. I actually already had a couple people join. I haven't posted it on my social media yet, though, but I will. I just copied and pasted your email address into an email. So I'll send you the sales page, and you can read all about it, see all the results. There's an FAQ at the bottom, and ask me any questions that you have. I'm a total open book, and I'll be anything that you got, just let me know, man.
Sounds great. Thank you, Jason.
All right, Dan. Sounds good. Hey, shoot me a note when it's live, and I can send this out to my followers.
Yeah, will do. Thank you so much.
All right, Dan. I'll talk to you.
Okay, thanks. All right, bye.